So it's amazing to see how much the scenery has changed and how much the weather has changed, because on a journey like this, it's incremental. You know, gradually you move from the cornfields in Illinois, then it gets slightly more mountainous, then you get the rolling hills, and then you get this kind of Texas prairie land. Technically, I suppose it's both Texas and Oklahoma prairie land. There's the Irish Route 66ers, and the reason they're there is because they're getting a picture of the Texas border sign. So that's why we're it's a technicality as to where we are. This is Oklahoma, that's Texas, and appropriately enough, given that we're in the heading into Texas, this is our first ghost town. So as you can see, I think there's maybe 2 places that still have people living in them, maybe 3. It's Texola, so it's right on the border of Oklahoma and Texas. And if you're eagle-eyed, you will have noticed that the sun is in the wrong place. In other words, the sun is now to my right and slightly behind me, which means I'm heading east. The reason I'm heading east is we just stopped to take those pictures, and I thought I'd explain where we are. So I'm going to spin around in a second here. Hopefully traffic isn't too bad in this middle of nowhere. This has also been one of the more interesting sections in the route, because we're on a pretty old, unmaintained section. Lots of potholes. Here, I'll indicate to nobody just to be on the safe side. Lots of potholes. Lots of grass coming up through the concrete. Lots of grass encroaching. This section isn't too bad because it's through the middle of Texola, but a lot of it is some of the, in theory, and some of the worst of the road quality. But it's actually been a beautiful day, gorgeous ride. And what's really strange is, if you're used to European roads, if they're one carriageway roads, it almost always means they're twisty, because they originally started as a cattle track or a walking track, and then they got tarmacked or turned into concrete. This may be a narrow 2-lane road, but there are sections of it that are 20 miles long, arrow straight, just up and down over the hills, because though they made it 2 lanes wide, they made it man-made in a direct line to get where they need to go. One of the interesting things has been the Route 66 Museum, which we visited, and it had pictures from the original road, and it had pictures of the settlers that Steinbeck wrote about, that movement, particularly from Oklahoma and the Dust Bowl, and the drive west in the desperate hope of finding something. But they had pictures of the people actually camping on the sides of the road. I mean, camping is, you have a mattress, you have a tarpaulin or a burlap that you put over you, you sleep the night, and you hope you have enough gas to make it to California. You hope you find some kind of game to eat. So there's the guys. I'll come and join them, taking a well-earned break, and this is the Texas border. That's Ray. Then we have Niall and Nicole. We've just come from getting a little bit of lunch. Then next up, we have Mihal. And then here we have Lou. Just tuck in before we get to this hill. And then up here we have Hugh. And this is a section of 66 that's now called a frontage road. In other words, it runs parallel to the new interstate that then superseded it. But this is the original road. You can see how effectively the original roadbed, they just doubled it up to make it the interstate. But you know where they describe everything as in Texas as being big? This does give you that view of just how massive the vistas are. And it's all like this. It's all cattle country. It's also hot. Despite it, we're running this in October, which is a good time to do it, because, you know, you're usually halfway between the weather. It's not freezing and snowy in the desert, but it's not roasting hot. Currently, I'm at 95 degrees on the dash display. And, of course, the sun's beating on us, and the vast majority of us are wearing jet black protective gear. Now, you will see a lot of the bikers in the States ride in T-shirts. A lot of them ride without helmets. But I'd rather be hot and not getting skin grafts. So we're all just roasting. It's actually nice. Once you get up to speed like this and you start to get a bit of airflow through, it's nice. But what's lovely is the mornings. It's about 70 degrees, sun on your back, just enough air to keep you cool. That's gorgeous. Couldn't be nicer. So one of the things that's interesting to look at is how the sort of the system for riding in a pack works. So what Philip does up the front is, at every stop sign, he slows right down quite a bit in advance of it, and that bunches the group up around us, because we kind of stretch out then as you go through the stop sign. He then confirms that he has everybody, and if you look right at the very back, you see that headlight? That's Niall's bike. So Niall keeps his headlight on. I mean, obviously there may be lights on, but he keeps his high beams on. And that means that all Philip has to do is check his mirrors and know if he sees Niall's high beams, that means Niall's at the back. That means everybody is together. If somebody drops off, Niall will drop off with them. He'll look back, see that he doesn't have the headlight, and he knows the group is broken up. So far, that doesn't happen. And then we can kind of stretch out like this. Now, what we tend to do is if we're running on an interstate where you've cars filtering in and out, we'll bunch up and ride in formation, because it means then a car can't get into the group. But where you're on a section road like this, we can let it spread out slightly, because nobody's going to overtake us and end up splitting the group up. Yep. So here it is, the thing that you never thought you needed until you saw it. The Devil's Rope Museum, the tribute to barbed wire. This is genuinely a museum of barbed wire. And there's Sean. What I'm told is it's actually a very good museum. I don't just mean a good museum of barbed wire. I mean, it's supposed to be a very entertaining museum, dedicated entirely to barbed wire. Now, I don't know whether or not it's open, but there's a bunch of the part of the other group already here. I think this is one group, because again, you have to remember there's, 80 in total of all of us. So this appears to be one group that are on the way out. Yeah, they're definitely heading off. That's their road captain there, Sean. I'll just get out of their way. And they're heading on now towards Amarillo, which is where we're all going to see them again this evening. I think we've 2 trikes. That's one of the 2 trikes that are on the trip. So again, it'll be the usual drill. They'll all gather up behind Sean, who's acting in their instance like Philip. They stage up behind him, and then they'll all take off when they're ready to go. So let me see. There's another GS. That's another Hughes bike. So you got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the Harleys, a Harley trike, and then a GS. And Sean's waiting until he sees that he has everybody. I think the Harley trike is acting as that's the end person. So he's checking that he has his end guy ready to go. He's on the GPS, making sure that he knows where he's heading. Oh no, that's what it is. He needed just his last person. So there you go. So that's quite a big group. What's that? 3, 5, 7. So 9 in total in that group. Sean confirms that he has everybody, and then he goes. At least we think he's going to go. At this rate, we might all grow old before he goes. No, he's thinking about it. Still just inputting some waypoints. Now, obviously, there we go. He's away. So that's them off. And we'll follow in, I don't know, 10 minutes. Depends on how long you need to spend in a museum dedicated to barbed wire. Which could be quite some time, but we'll see. So this is the Barbed Wire Museum. I've been hearing good things about it, mostly from Philip, so they're probably not true. Why so many tools? 2,000 tools patented related to barbed wire. Post nose, gator board, nailed down on railroad ties to prevent cattle crossing. Wow. Okay, Philip's defense, this is pretty impressive. You have to admit, it is pretty good. What do you think, Lou, best barbed wire museum you've ever been in?
I'll tell you what, it's up by a mile.
Amazing.
It's like a TARDIS when you look outside of it.
Amazing. A line tensioner. Who knew? And I'm told it's very hard to actually get in because it's mostly closed. I don't know why. Maybe that does a disservice. Maybe at the time
that the Route 66 groups have come through before. It has tended to be closed. Remember I was telling you how hot it is earlier on? That's Nicole either cooling herself or doing something for TikTok like the kids do these days. I don't know what it is. Oh, brandy. What a cool place. Oh, and types of barbed wire. 2-point barb, 5-point star barb, long tom barb, Elwood spread barb. Well, me and the rabbit are going to spend some more time in here.